In this video, we're exploring Doha, Qatar. The city hosted the 2022 World Cup, and even before them hosting the World Cup, I was always fascinated about visiting this place. There is so much culture to be explored here in Doha, therefore I wanted the opportunity to experience that in person. Qatar Airways offers a few days layover without additional cost. Therefore, on my trip to Tanzania, I decided to take advantage of this program and stay here for 2 days in Doha. But because of the flight delays, I did not get to stay the full 2 days as planned. Instead, just 1 day. Additionally, this trip occurred just before the World Cup. Therefore, there will be a lot of references of the World Cup. So in this video, I want to highlight the attraction that one can see and do while visiting Doha for the short layover. I do recognize that the city of Doha is big and one can't see or do everything in just 1 day. Therefore, keep that in mind when watching this video. If you are new to our channel, welcome. And thank you for those who have been with us since the beginning of our channel. If this type of content interests you, consider subscribing. Our journey starts from our flight from London to Doha. A full video of this flight review is already available on our YouTube channel, and I will link it here so you can check it out later after watching this video. Just landed. And now we're going to go through immigration, customs, and then head over to our hotel. So we just got here, and I am one of the few people who is going straight to Doha. Everybody else is transferred. So Doha, it is a hub to the Middle East and to the rest of the world. So all the airlines that get here, most passengers do the transfer instead of staying into Qatar. Our arrival in Doha was late, about 10 p.m. And after going through immigration and custom, I picked up the rental car. I elected to have a car to facilitate my move around the city without having to spend a lot of time navigating the taxi or waiting for pickup. So we just arrived in Doha, and I'm going to my hotel right now. But as I'm driving, I had a couple of thoughts and a couple of things that I just wanted to share quickly, so they can be able to help you guys if you ever come here. So first thing is, be careful as you drive, because there's a lot of cameras, or there's a traffic cameras everywhere that you drive. So you just have to be really mindful of that. Be really careful when you drive on the speed limit. Don't speed. And the second thing is, they say that if you step into the line on the red light, even if you didn't make a right turn, even if you didn't pass, you're going to be still fined. I think they say 6,000 of their money, which is a lot of money. So just be mindful of that if you ever come to Qatar. So far, so good. The experience has been great. Since I arrived at the airport, there were no problems. When I got there, they asked me questions on basically what am I doing here, how long am I going to be here. So I provided them that information, and they were able to give me my stamp to get into the country. So and then I had a bottle of champagne with me that was closed, but apparently you're not allowed to bring it here, so I wasn't aware of that. So that's just one thing to keep in mind when you come in places like this. Be mindful of what their rules are. I arrived at the hotel pretty late and was ready for some shut-eye. Good morning from beautiful Doha. I'm right here staying at the Westin by Marriott in Doha, and today I'm going to be going down to the city and actually showing you guys how you can be able to enjoy it if you're here for 1 day. So I'm only here really for 1 day. It was supposed to be 2 days. My flight got delayed, so I really did not spend any time yesterday. So today I'm going to be going down to the city and seeing what I can be able to do while I'm here in 1 day. You may want to stick around and watch this video so you can see all the areas that you can go and enjoy when you're here for 1 day. At least you have an itinerary of what you can be doing if you're only here for one day in Doha. So let's go to the city and explore now. I'm staying at the Westin in Doha, and this is a gorgeous hotel. We actually have a full video of a review of this hotel available also on our channel, and I will link it here. The hotel is about 20 to 30 minutes away from the city by car or taxi. Before going to the city, I must fuel my body with complimentary breakfast offered here at the hotel with my elite status. Now, the breakfast is not complimentary for all guests, but as I mentioned, given my status with Marriott, it was complimentary. So right now we're driving through the city. We're gonna go visit some places. Just a couple of things to know is they are using kilometers per hour. So when you're driving, you want to make sure you're following that speed limit. There's a lot of cameras and speed control here. So just be sure that you're mindful of their rules, that you're not getting yourself a lot of tickets. I made that mistake when I went to Dubai, and I've learned that quickly. So you don't want to do that. I don't, at least for me, I do not want to do that. So they're driving kilometers, mostly in road. You're going to be driving 80 kilometers per hour, which is about 50 miles an hour. When you are in the highway, you're driving 100 kilometers per hour. So right behind me is the Islamic Museum of Art. Currently it's closed for renovation, but I think they are planning to reopen in about a week or 2 weeks from now. So it's really a cool place to see, because while the museum is here, behind the museum there's a beautiful greenery park, and then you also can see beautiful views of the city or the newer area of Doha. And the other thing that I just want you to keep in mind, that it is super hot. It gets really hot here. So be prepared for that. Bring a lot of sunscreen, and also just bring a bottle of water so you can drink, just stay hydrated. So it's super hot. And right now it's early in the morning, but it's already hot. So I can't imagine how the afternoon is going to be. Since this visit was prior to the World Cup, this particular museum was going through renovation for the big event. Therefore, I wasn't able to visit it. From what I heard, it is a must-see place to learn not only about Qatari history, but also Islamic. Anyways, in the future, I'll be sure to check it out. Let's visit the Pearl and the Park of Nations, where the flags of the World Cup representing countries were in display, and the countdown clock. Now, this area is called La Corniche. There are shops and restaurants along the area, also boats so you can take around the bay. Right now I'm standing in front of the flagpole of the World Cup competitors, and right there's a mock-up of the World Cup trophy, so I'm going to go check it out right now. And in this area is located right by the which is just a marina area where you can walk around in a beautiful, amazing downtown, the new area of Doha. And then also you have on the backside the old town of Doha. So it's a great place to come and visit. Again, it's super hot, just be mindful of that. And then from here you can see there's local boats here that you can rent or pay to take you on a tour around the Bay Area. So again, if you are into getting a tour of the water, the boat, you can catch one of these boats here, and I'll find out how much actually costs for each. So I just asked the guy how much is it for you to ride one of those boats, and he says 100 Qatari dollar or money, which I think is too expensive. So again, just just make sure you're asking and negotiating the price, because they can give you the touristy price when in reality that's not the real price for it. After spending about 30 minutes here in the scorching heat, I decided to make my way to the newer part of the city, which is more of the business and financial capital of Qatar. In this area, bear in mind that a lot of construction for the World Cup was still ongoing. Also, we spent just a few minutes outdoor before going indoor to cool ourselves. So, Doha is divided into many different parts. Think about it from the perspective of New York City, London, Paris, or Dubai. You have different pockets of the city with its own vibe, but people still call it one name. For example, in New York City, you have Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens. But most people just refer it as New York. But in reality, when you ask the locals, they will tell you which neighborhood you are in. So same here in Doha. I made my way to the neighborhood called Katara. In this area, the Qatar Cultural Village is located in addition to beaches. Again, because of the time of the day, the heat, and the lack of understanding of when to go out, I was pretty much almost the one person walking around. But this area is really cool for you to check out, especially the cultural hall and the market. One thing for sure that I can see here is that there's not a lot of tourists. I think it's just because Qatar is opening up to people slowly, but in comparison to like Dubai, who I can compare it with, or Turkey or something like that, Qatar is really not visited much. So it just feels empty. So as I'm going around touring places, I feel like I'm the only tourist around. So when I have my camera out, people are looking at me funny. But they're hosting the World Cup, so hopefully it'll be different by the time the World Cup starts here. And the other thing worth mentioning, it is super hot right now, it's daytime, so probably a lot of people are not going out at this time, and they may go out late on in the evening, but just right now I don't see a lot of people at all. A short drive later, we made our way to the Pearl area. And in this area, it reminds me of Dubai Marina, which is super cool to see. Here, they have high-end hotels and shops. Additionally, from my understanding, a lot of expats actually live here. So right now we're at the Arabia Island area. And then across over there, that's the St. Regis Hotel. So you can't go there, but you can visit around this area without any problem. You know, checking around, but it's very posh or posh. So it's really high-end restaurant, high-end stores located around here. And again, the theme continues. There's not a lot of people visiting, just myself and maybe one or two other people. But I think this is our residential area as well. So mostly probably foreigners who live around this area here. But it's super cool area to check it out. Be mindful, parking is a little bit costly here. So if you have to come here, maybe take a taxi and then walk around. As you can tell, this was a super busy day for me, as I wanted to see as much as I could while in Doha. The saving grace in all of this is the fact that I had a car and could move about anywhere. I wanted to see the stadium where the final was going to be played, so I went to Lusail area to check it out. I was really surprised to see that the train station were already completed, but the stadium was not quite ready for visitors. Nevertheless, this gave me the opportunity to see the outskirts of Doha, and to get the experience what a day-to-day looks like from someone who lives here. One encouraging factor about driving in Doha, the roads were empty most of the time and I barely experienced any traffic. One can factor it based on the population size here, but I can see that the Qatari government is building for growth and not waiting for growth to happen before they can build. I did a lot during the first day and I wanted a bit of a rest before visiting night market. So I headed back to the hotel where the evening canopy was being served. When we travel, we try to take advantage of meals available at the hotel. This allows us to leverage the cost in choosing to have breakfast at the hotel and sometimes, if offered, the evening canopy. This allows us to save some cash that we can use later for activities during the trip. At this hotel in particular, the evening canopy was filling, which ended up being my dinner. After dinner, I made my way back to Old Town of Doha called Souk Waqif. This is a night market where they sell traditional garment, spices, and souvenir. In addition, there's a lot of restaurant and activities to do. Given that it was evening hour and the sun already set, there were a lot of people out. This is what majority of the people do. They don't visit during the day, given that it is hot. So when it cools down, they all come out. So right now we are at the Souk Waqif, and you can see they're doing some camel riding, and there's shops and just everything around here. And right now, because it's cooler and it's nighttime, everybody just came out to basically do some sightseeing. So I guess this is the best time for them to come out because it's cooler and it's not too hot to burn people. So a short walk from Souk Waqif is the Pearl located by the Corniche with stunning views of Doha. Additionally, by the Nations Park, a lot of people were out to check out the World Cup countdown clock. Anyways, as our day ends, I wanted to provide my thoughts on Doha. This is a beautiful, vibrant, and upcoming city. Don't sleep on it. In comparison to its neighbor city and country of Dubai, UAE, it's relatively cheap. The cost for hotel, food, and attraction were 2/3 of what you will pay in Dubai. Overall, the experience here was a lasting memory for me and one that I will cherish forever. Will I ever return? Of course. So if you're ever in Doha with a layover of 10 hours or more, take advantage to leave the airport and visit this beautiful city. If you are able to stay longer for your layover and take advantage as I did, by all means, please do. You will not regret it. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. We will see you in the next one.